Thank you for staying. Let's get into our first story now. And Chairman of the opposition NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, says the party is united despite opposition to the appointment of Dr. Cassiel Attoforsen as minority leader. Some 72 NDC members of parliament have petitioned the Council of Elders and the Speaker of Parliament demanding they reject the new appointees, saying the party rules governing such appointments were not followed. Addressing some members of the party in London, Johnson Esiedun Ketia said there was overwhelming support for that decision.
Somebody is asking about how fragmented the NDC is following the reshuffle. NDC is not fragmented at all. It is still a very united party. The truth about every decision is that every change comes along with new gainers and new losers. So you definitely will have some reaction. But the change has been welcomed by majority of NDC membership across the country. And I guess even here, I was greeted with reshuffle. So it has brought some new excitement on the front of NDC. So NDC is not divided at all. And the reports about 70 MPs signing, a resolution and all that, they are not accurate at all. We heard about 70 MPs, then later we got the number reduced to 40 MPs, and eventually the press conference was attended by 25 MPs. And a lot of them, even at that event, were calling to assure me that they were there to witness what was happening and not necessarily associating themselves with the move. And as I was leaving Accra, there were a couple of MPs who had called into media houses to dissociate themselves from the move, even though their names were in the list. And so that is that about it. NDC is not fragmented at all. I've already explained the motivation for the move, even though we are not bound to explain anything. It is not a normal practice for leaders to explain the reasons for their reshuffle. But NDC being democratic, and personally, I always want to, account for decisions that I take. So when I take any decision, I try as much as possible to let everybody understand why those decisions have been taken. That is why I went to the extra length of explaining the reasoning.
Now, chairperson of the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, that is the CDD Ghana, Professor Audrey Gajekpo, says government needs to do more to improve access to information. According to her, though there are laws to ensure that citizens get public information, it is sometimes cumbersome. Speaking on Personality Profile with Aisha Ibrahim, she explained that every citizen needs information to effectively contribute their quota towards national development.
Today, I chaired an event for Media Foundation for West Africa. And on the side of that event was on investigative reporting. And some of the people that Media Foundation for West Africa was training were talking about the difficulties of accessing information. So the short answer to your question is that despite the fact that there's an act now, it's still not easy to get public information. And we need to continue to press for public information. So I like to remind people that the right to information is fundamental to us as citizens living in a democracy, because without information, how do you become a citizen and not a spectator?
Definitely.
So you do need information. You do need public information to hold people accountable, you know. But we've come from a long culture where information was closely guarded. There were times when journalists paid a price just for asking for information, or sometimes getting that information to do their work, but they got punished. So we have that. We have secrecy laws that were on our books, you know, and so we did have a strong culture of not sharing information, you know, but I really think it's important to see the Right to Information, RTI Act as not just for journalists, but for anybody. Anybody as a citizen should be able to go and say, what's our assembly doing? How much money was voted for this project?
Right.
What are the overruns? You know, it's really important.
And be able to get
it. But I think a lot of assemblies are not used to being asked to reveal information. The presidency is not used to being asked for information. And I bet you, even Parliament, you know, that passed the act, the bill into an act, would be reluctant to share certain types of information.
The pursuit of sports promotion in Ghana requires the availability and access to sports facilities to groom young, daring talents. But at Nyinehin, a community in the Etrimamponua district of the Ashanti region, sports enthusiasts are aspiring football players are peeved at the neglect of an almost complete multipurpose sports complex. Clinton Yabwa visited that community and now reports.
Stadium Amayama in Crantiani, no manam so. I anywhere be a ball. The Baba is a Cobon Fitire. Sabi, Yaya, you watch Mampun one in Mabuno, any Asante region, I guess Yakuma Joswane.
In 2017, the government, through the Ministry of Youth and Sports, decided to construct 10 youth and sports centers in 10 regions. Unfortunately, that of the Nyinehini in the Ashanti region sits abandoned. The Nyinehin Sports Complex is 10 minutes drive away from the main entry to town, which is home to Isaac Esiama, a former sports minister and the current member of parliament for the area. The government spent around $2.5 million to construct these 10 complexes.
Each center will have a counseling center for entrepreneurship development, a conference center, an ICT center, a restaurant, hostel facility and offices, a FIFA standard football pitch. We're making sure there'll be room for the future Alice Anums, Micah Hayes, and Baba Yaras to develop their skills.
This news was received with a grand deba. However, budding football talents in Nyinehin are anxious. Their dreams to represent the country on the international front could be in jeopardy. Kwabna Kakari is the assembly member for the Nyinehin Junction electoral area. He is a pioneer footballer who owns a second division sports club, the Soccer-Wise Academy.
I come in the league 4 times, and now park a yeninti. I'm crabby training at 4 o'clock. Into your comedy league, near Timbo League, and any time I had a bowling in a show be by a court near Kudukumasia, a park in his son. Roman Park be that solo, a honey training. You could do Krumna Park and a swan. No more the park is in a beating crown. Near Saba last year, ya crack and second division.
So this is what happens every term. Students and the sports team from Nyinehin Catholic Senior High School come here to prepare the place for their sporting activities, despite the dangers of incurring serious bruises. Sports master for the Nyinehin Catholic Senior High School, George Owusu, said they have no choice but to use the place even in its grave state.
Your stadium, you could recover tracks. Now check it, say a bit to recover boss. And yet, I dear boa papadi. But you say half a loaf is better than none. We know a standard. O buy a school moha. O buy a school moha. Ye dear no, and yes standard. Ye enough space, even 400 truck, come. So we need the standard one, a bit in the area. What you train here, when so cost stadium.
So we need a government-backed policy. First, the government-backed policy on sports in general, government-backed policy on how to nurture young sporting talent. So across the country, we can go back into our GHS, our junior high schools, our senior high schools, the Milo games and the likes. When we pick the talent, what's the government-backed policy in terms of harnessing these talents, in terms of blossoming them, and on, of course, with respect to blossoming it, then it means that we need the infrastructure, we need the equipment, we need the know-how, the technical know-how, as it were, to get them better. So I think generally the way forward is a proper government-backed policy, something that is backed by an LI or CI, that Party A can come and will be forced to go straight according to it, and Party B also will be forced to go straight according to it, and not a manifesto from Party A and then another manifesto from Party B. A proper government-backed policy on sports, else we will just be walking around, go to competitions and then come back failing the whole time.
Reporting for Joy News, Clinton Yeboah.
The Bono East Regional Health Directorate has, as part of measures aimed at increasing COVID-19 vaccinations, recruited more than 100 community influencers to lead the sensitization campaign in the 11 districts across the region. Deputy Director in charge of Clinical Health, Dr. Paulina Clara Appiah, says this is part of various strategies adopted by the Directorate to enable it achieve its target of vaccinating 75% of the region's population. Correspondent Anasabe now reports.
The Ghana Health Services, as part of its efforts aimed at increasing the uptake of the COVID-19 vaccines, launched a series of national vaccination campaigns. The recent exercise, which is the 6th of its kind, was targeted at vaccinating over 62,000 of the Bono East region's population. Deputy Regional Director of Health Services in charge of Clinical Health, Dr. Paulina Clara Appiah, says the move would help bring the region closer to the attainment of herd immunity.
COVID somewhere is COVID everywhere. Even though the cases are not high, if we do not put our house in order and then get our populace vaccinated so that we all are protected, then the COVID cases can come up. We all know that not too long ago when the COVID started, it started in China. And within a short time, Ghana had our first 2 cases and it spread everywhere. So we need to be able to ramp up our COVID vaccination. And so for this 6th COVID vaccination exercise, we have a target of 62,252 to vaccinate. But we still have more than 400,000 people in the Bono East region that need to be vaccinated. And so we have to be able to reach out to them.
With vaccine hesitancy currently the major challenge for health authorities across the country, Dr. Paulina Clara Appiah disclosed that the Directorate has strategically trained about 110 community influencers to lead the vaccinators to the various communities to help boost the uptake of the vaccines.
Now in this campaign, quite a number of communities are hesitant. Now they are actually refusing it outright. Some are saying that when you interact with them, they will say that we have the vaccine, we have taken the vaccines. But when you ask, give us your card, they don't have it because they don't want you to start convincing them. So what we have done as a region is that to be able to improve our at least those who are to receive for the first time, is to train 110 community influencers. We have 10 influencers in each district, and they are actually going with us. With the vaccinators, convincing people to receive the vaccine. I said that we have, as we speak now, we've had 32% having first dose. But prayer campaigns, the first doses came down up to 20%. So we believe that the community influencers have supported us. They have helped us because people know them, they revere them, they are community leaders. And so when they speak to them, they listen.
She was, however, quick to charge eligible persons who are yet to get the jabs to get vaccinated to help protect the entire population.
It's not everybody who is taking the vaccine, because in this country, anybody who is older than 15 years doesn't take the vaccine. So again, it is for us as a society that if those who are eligible can take the vaccine, are willing to take the vaccine, to be able to protect the others. Because if I take, you take, everybody takes, then the likelihood that the virus can spread to those who are young becomes lower. So if people also understand that it is not only about you, but it's about all of us, I'm sure in some people they may also want to take the vaccine, and that is the message that we are taking out.
The Borno East region has currently vaccinated a total of 473,812 persons out of a target of 835,086 of its population, with a cumulative case count of 3,344 and a total of 76 deaths. Anna Sabit, Joy News, Kintampo.
To our next story now, and the Executive Director of the Data Commission, Patricia Eduse-Poku, says the Commission will ensure the prosecution of data controllers who misuse the private data of people. Speaking on Joy News to commemorate World Data Protection Day, she said her outfit was also going to crack the whip on some loan applications that are abusing the personal data of their subscribers.
It's an area of great concern to the Commission because many data subjects have become victim of these loan apps that are not regulated and not registered with the Bank of Ghana. It's fully online. They appear in your apps or recommended by friends. People click the link and download it to their phone. And what these loan apps are doing is capturing all your contacts, and when you default on a payment, it starts messaging and defamation of your character to all your contacts, calling you a thief, you're wanted, and all of that. And it's really distressing data subjects who have reported to us. We have also reported it to the police, and we are connecting with them and hoping to get to the bottom of it and find who the owners of these apps are to bring them to justice. So I mentioned our collaborative effort. On Tuesday, we've invited the NCA, the Cybersecurity Authority, and the NITA authorities, whose work is very complementary to data protection, to come and present to CEOs in the nation and to explain what we expect of them, not only explaining what the legal obligations are, but also highlights the benefits of doing data protection right. And if you look at our theme for this year, it's data governance for a safe, digitized environment, digitized space. So we want to explain and to discuss with them how we can improve the safeguarding of data to allow us to get out to maximize the potential of digitized information for effective and efficient decision making, such that businesses will begin to see the benefits of managing data right, putting a structure around the data management, and also reaping the benefits of having your ducks in a line, per se, having data in a good structure.
Well, that's it for the news on that technological note, but stay with us. The news review up next.